Hello everybody, today we are going to be doing a test ride of the Ducati Multistrada V2, and before we get started I just want to give a quick shout out to Bob's Motorcycles in Jessup, Maryland. They are a BMW and Ducati dealership. Thank you so much, especially to Jim and Austin for setting me up for this test ride today. Really appreciate it, guys. Alright, on to the ride.
Okay everyone, we are on our way. Today we are test riding, as you can see, the Ducati Multistrada V2. I have never ridden this bike before. I've never ridden a Ducati before, but I own a Yamaha Tracer 9. So that is what I will be comparing this bike to. They are, you know, both in the sport touring category. They have similar power, similar weight. I'll put stats on the screen here. Whoa, look at these stats. Amazing. You've never seen stats like this. So this is exciting for me. I've never ridden a Ducati before. Wow, a lot of vibrations through the seat here. Maybe I should be down a... Wow. Alright, so first impression. I'm kind of surprised at how I am getting a decent amount of vibrations through my butt. I do not know. That's just my first initial impression of this thing is, wow, vibration-y, huh. But yeah, so far my first impressions, it feels similar to the Tracer 9 in spec-wise. I mean, it should. Let's talk about ergonomics really quick. I am 5'11" with a 30-inch inseam. I'm all torso, folks. But I'm very comfortable on this bike. I can touch the ground very well with my legs when I stop. The way your legs are sitting, super similar rider triangle, nice wide handlebar. Nothing, I can't say anything bad about these ergonomics. I actually think this seat out of the box, the standard seat that comes with the V2, might be more comfortable than the standard seat on the Tracer 9. I have a comfort seat on the Tracer 9, but this one feels a little bit softer and kind of also more supportive in the back end. But let's go through some of the display stuff. Urban, you have urban, enduro, touring, and sport, wet and sport. And we do have to test it in sport because it's a Ducati, so why would I not do that? I don't want to say something that sounds rude. I'm not that impressed by the sound of it. I thought it sounded better in videos when I heard it. It sounds like a, you know, like a V-twin. All right, let's go. Wow! We have some low-end torque, folks. That's what we have. Wow! It really throws you back. Alright, so I will say that compared to the Tracer 9, even in sport mode, I have a 2025 Tracer 9, and even in sport mode, it does not compare to this. This is insane. Let's go back into second gear again. Whoa! Jesus, pleases. It just kicks you. Wow! I need to find, he said once you hit a mission, it's a nice twisty turny road. Oh, mission road, there we go. Alright. We found it, folks. He said this is the nice twisty turny part. So let's see how it does. I'm expecting a lot. Ducati has all this racing pedigree. Whoa! Woo! Yeah, I mean, it has get up and go. You know, it has a little get up and go to it. Once you get yourself, though, into, once you kind of get, here we go. This looks nice. Oh, we were already at max height. Okay, there's a manually adjustable windscreen if you weren't aware. But once you get yourself kind of into the higher revs, it almost becomes, not more tame, but the power delivery is very smooth. Alright. This is nice, though. It's a nice road. Here, wait, let's get down in a second. That seems to be a fun gear on this bike. Wow. I'd say if you really want to, I don't know, I don't think I would take my Tracer 9 to a track day. You could, but I think when you put this in sport mode, it might encourage me to go to a track day. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just game for whatever you throw at it, as far as a corner, as far as for digging into the power. The torque is all over the place down low. When you get it up in the revs, it's smooth. Yeah, it does not disappoint. It is a raucous little machine, huh? Oof, all right, the suspension. All right, so let's compare it to the Tracer for a second. The brakes are good. Oof, they're good. I don't think they're as bitey off the jump as the Tracer, but yeah, they can stop you. It's their strong brakes. What I wanted to say was the suspension is definitely in this sport mode. Maybe it's because I'm in sport.
Quick sidebar here, folks. In this, I talk about the suspension being adjustable by changing the modes, but as this is the V2 and not the V2S, it is not adjustable via the modes. That was my mistake. I think somebody at the dealership had said that, oh, when you change the modes on this, it changes the suspension setup. For the V2, that is not true. So take what I say here with a grain of salt. I hadn't adjusted any dampening, obviously, as this was just a test ride, but you can see here on their website, they do mention the Ducati V2 manual adjustment on the suspension front and rear, and the V2S you get the dampening adjustment with Ducati's skyhook suspension. Man, I can read. Front and rear is where that's mentioned. Anyway, back to the video.
It's not as cushiony as the Tracer, but I know if I set it up into, so it's an electronically adjustable suspension, and let's see if it is more cushiony now, because my understanding is that it should be more pleasant, more compliant and relaxed. And it's more compliant and relaxed so far. Let's head over some of these rough parts of the road. The suspension on this bike is just a little bit, you feel a little bit more through the seat for sure. The dampening, I'd say, on the Tracer 9 out of the box compared to this bike out of the box is more plush. How did they get around the European standards is what I'm wondering, because what you hear about the Yamahas, but what they say about, oh, the Yamahas and like why they're a little bit gutless in second gear now is because of compliance. But this bike doesn't have that problem. It's louder, it's faster, as far as like when you're getting, as far as like how the torque feels. And right now I'm just doing some around town mannerisms, seeing how it feels here. The car's probably very confused about what I'm doing, so I'm just doing circles, but let's talk about the around town mannerisms of this bike while let's pull into this parking lot, do a little bit of slow speed maneuvers. I'm just gonna do some donuts in here and pretend like I'm parking. All right, so let's do the two parking lot tests. Let's see if I can turn around in 2 spaces. All right. Pull up, and oh, the bike can do it, but I cannot. I had to put a foot down there, so you'll excuse me. Let's do it again. That was pathetic on my part. I think this bike, I'll have to check here. Does this have a 19 or... Okay, so it will happily do it under just about 2 spaces. This might have a 19-inch front wheel, which could affect the, how sharp the turning is compared to the 17-inch on the Tracer, because I just thought it would definitely, I thought it would be well within 2 spaces, and it's just within 2 spaces. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't have any problem taking this bike around town. I'd say compared to the Tracer, you have a little bit less sharp of a turning circle, and the Tracer has a 17-inch front wheel, so that makes sense. But no real complaints. I've also heard from people that previous versions of these bikes, the Multistradas, got really hot. No heat complaints for me so far, but I've only been on it for about 10 minutes, so your mileage may vary. What else? I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm impressed. I'll be honest, when I was coming into this, I was like, am I going to be really upset that I bought the Tracer 9 instead of a Ducati? And my answer is no, but I think it's definitely just going to come down to personal preference. A bold statement. Different bikes for different people. I like how raucous this is, and you can tune it down by putting it in touring, I guess. I don't know. The sound of this exhaust is not doing it for me. That's one thing I'm not a fan of. I would see if I could put a different exhaust on it that just has a different sound. It's not a thumper, but it sounds a little lawnmower-y to me, which, oh, that sounds good. You know, maybe it's just when you're in the low revs. At low revs, it does not sound wonderful. But when you get it up there, that sounds pretty wonderful. It actually sounds fine. Maybe I was being too harsh, you know? Around town, speeds, maybe not the best sound, but what was the other thing? Oh, the vibrations through the seat. I'm feeling so much. I mean, maybe this is a thing you get used to, but genuinely, that was the first thing I noticed when I sat on the bike, and I still feel it. I'm at 4,000 RPMs right now. Before 4,000, nothing. Yep, above 4,500, it's there. And it kind of smooths out at the top end. No, not really. No, that vibration in your butt and it's really your gooch. I'm saying my butt, it's really the gooch. Would I begrudge anybody for spending, so you can get the Tracer 9 now in America for $12,500, and this starts, I think, at like $15,500, $15,200. Would I begrudge anybody for getting this bike over the Tracer? No. I think a lot of people think the Tracer's ugly as shit, and I disagree. I like how the Tracer looks. I think I actually like how it looks more than this bike, but that's, in a whole other discussion. I really think it's in the eye of the beholder. I feel like the Ducati folks are going to come for me in the comments. I'll be honest, it's fun. This is a fun bike. It's got that Italian personality out the ass. But actually, the vibration, the biggest negative for me about this bike is the vibration in the gooch. I'm a little surprised about how vibey it is. But other than that, no, I don't think you're making the wrong purchase decision getting this bike over the Tracer 9. It's fun. It has that Italian flair. Look at it, it's red. Look at this. Look at this red bike. It's fucking, it is smiles per mile on this thing, man. Jesus. It's funny, my Tracer 9 is like a grown-up bike, and that's what I feel like. This is a grown-up bike that you can still be a hooligan on, and I feel like the Tracer 9 without an ECU flash is a little bit more grown-up, which I'm not mad about. As somebody who's used, I'm keeping it as a long-distance tourer. You can definitely still do the same on this. I'm not saying you can't do that on this bike. The vibrations in the gooch are weird, and it has some serious chops as far as the punch, this torque. Sorry, I'm not talking about torque enough. The word I'm looking for is torque. The torque this bike has, and it is very compliant in the corners. Boy howdy, it's a fun bike.
Alright everybody, before I let you go, I just want to summarize my thoughts on the test ride that I had with the Multistrada V2 today. First up is throttle response. I had zero issues with the throttle response in this bike. Really no jerkiness down in first, second, or third gear when coming onto the throttle. Felt very solid, very precise. A+, good stuff. Braking. As I showed you a couple of times, the Brembo brakes up front and in the rear do a really good job of stopping this bike. No question about it. Great braking performance. Acceleration. Extremely good. Very good acceleration. I'm only laughing because it was clearly something I enjoyed quite a bit while riding this bike. Fantastic acceleration. Suspension. Honestly, I complained a little bit about the suspension, but you feel a little bit more bumps on the road, I think, than some other bikes in that category. But I think you could probably tweak the dampening to your liking and dial in the suspension, to make it a little bit more comfortable if you want. Agility, I mean, yeah, the Ducati has the racing pedigree. What am I gonna say? It's not a very agile, sporty amazing bike to ride and turn into a corner. No, it's great. It is fantastic. Comfort. The only thing I'm gonna knock the bike a little bit for comfort. I mean, the ergonomics are amazing. It was very comfortable as far as like the seat, how my legs were positioned, the rider triangle, the like nice flat handlebars with a, you know, a wide arm like position. The only thing about comfort for me is that kind of buzziness that you felt in the gooch on the seat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that would bother me when being on the bike for a really long time. Would my gooch become numb? I have no idea. Maybe you get used to it after a while, but it was something that stuck out for me. Livability, I mean, it's a sport touring bike. In general, this classification of bike is very livable. I think it's gonna be good for around town, on highways, in the twisties. It's an extremely you could live with this bike, no problem. This could be your one bike to do everything, in my opinion. Fun factor, incredible. I mean, it's just a raucous, wild little machine. It's not a little machine, it's a raucous, wild machine. I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't have fun taking this bike out. It was a good time. I came back with a smile on my face for sure. Controls and tech. I didn't love it, I'll be honest. Everything is usable. You can get in there, change the settings for the different rider modes. You can, change the rider modes on the fly when you're on the road. That's all great. I just think the way the menus are set up and then displayed could be a little bit simplified and more clear. That's something that Yamaha did really nail between, all of their versions of their bikes this year. They all have like the same TFT display that has like an extremely simple and usable layout, in my opinion. And when using different bikes, you kind of get a feeling of, okay, where on the scale from simple to complex and annoying is this? And this is like maybe a degree more complex and annoying, but it's by no means unusable or bad. It's just not as good as Yamaha's current menu. So not bad, not amazing, pretty good. And finally, value for money. Honestly, I mean, it's a Ducati, so you're paying a little bit more, I think, because it's an Italian bike. If you just compare it with other bikes in this class, like the Tracer 9 or the Tiger Sport 800, it's a few $1,000s more for a very similar offering. So what do you get with that? I mean, I think most people would say that you're paying for the racing pedigree. I think a lot of people would argue that it's not bad. And honestly, for a bike of this caliber from Ducati, it's pretty good value for money. All right, now back to Bike Matt to close this thing out.
Oh, I should also say, because I don't want to forget about this, shout out to Bob's Motorcycles in Jessup, Maryland. They are who let me take this bike out for a test ride today. They have a ton of demo bikes to test ride. They have a motorcycle museum. They do tours of their motorcycle museum. Shout out to Bob's. Thank you guys so much for letting me test ride this today. I really wonderful people to work with and chat to. They're very super knowledgeable, super friendly, super easygoing. So yeah, if you want to take a test ride of a BMW, a Ducati, fun foreign automobile, motorcycles, check out Bob's and Jessup. They're great. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. For me, it was helpful. I'm glad I rode this. This is a lot of fun. I'm gonna go test ride some more Ducatis. What a fun bike. What a fun bike.